Hey, it's Greg at the Vinyl Arms. Thanks for tuning in. Did a video a couple of weeks back. It was inspired by Americana Sam, a thread he kicked off, black and white album art. Really fun to do. It's sort of been tumbling around in my head sort of the last week, thinking, you know what, I'd love to just plagiarise that a little bit and extend it a little bit and do a 7-inch black and white thread. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to run with that. I'll keep it on point, and here goes. Kicking off with Babes in Toyland. This is an early record on Sub Pop Records, SP66. Lovely yellow vinyl as well. Babes in Toyland, sort of real sort of Riot Girl grunge crossover. They make an absolute wonderful racket. Brilliant, sort of in the vein of sort of L7 and that kind of thing. Really fun record, this one. Back to 1977, Buzzcocks Spiral Scratch EP. God, I must have listened to this record 100 times. It's just brilliant. 4 tracks. You've got Breakdown. You've got Time's Up on side A. And on the flip, my favourite, 2 minutes and 52 seconds of punk pop perfection. Easy for me to say. Boredom. Just wonderful track. And then it finishes with a song called Friends of Mine. Now, this was sort of an independently released one before they got signed up on a new Hormones record label. This is the version I've got. Now, you'll see here, there's a little credit here with Howard Devoto, an early incarnation of the Buzzcocks. He's got a great voice as Howard Devoto. Anyway, there's a version of this without this reference on here, and that one is as rare as hen's teeth. So if you've got one of them, hang on to it. Sheffield's finest, Cabaret Voltaire, you sort of industrial sort of punk crossover, maybe, I would say. And this track, Nag Nag Nag, is as catchy as hell. It's on the Rough Trade Records label. Absolutely brilliant. Piece of wax, that one. Now, this is a band I've been listening to for many years. The singer, Robert Pollard, he just makes great music, really prolific. Band called Guided by Voices. They've released God knows how many albums, probably getting on for like 60 or 70. I kid you not. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but maybe not. But this is one of their early singles on Silk Breeze Records, a little US independent label. It's just gorgeous. It's real sort of lo-fi, underproduced sort of pop, indie pop rock stuff. But he's got such a rich voice as Robert Pollard, and he sort of really tells stories in his songwriting, and it's really great. A couple of songs on here I'd just like to reference. One is Scalding Creek, which is like a real sort of campfire kind of sing-along tune, and the ever so catchy Melted Pat. Brilliant record. In the black and white album art thread, I talked about a band from Leeds, well, actually from Wetherby, a band called Hood, one of my favourite bands, sort of all throughout my life, really. And this is one of their 7-inch singles, Useless, on Domino Records. Now, this is a non-album track. You can only get this on this 7-inch single. And for me, I've done so many good songs, but I think this is one of their best, actually. Absolutely essential slice of 7-inch music there. We talked about Howard Devoto earlier, and obviously he went on to be in another band and set up another band called Magazine, which were really good fun. And this single, Shot by Both Sides, is just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And the B-side too, My Mind Ain't So Open, is gorgeous too. Now, a lot of these records I'm showing you, I when I was a kid, sort of early mid-teens, me and a pal would jump on a train and off we'd go to Leeds or York, where the record shops were. And there was a couple of shops that we used to shop at regularly. One in Leeds called Bad Records. Used to go down these stairs. It was near the station, and it was in this basement. And they used to have all this just awesome stuff on the wall. It's kind of where we got into all our sub pop stuff, and loads of like garage rock and stuff like that. And there was another shop in York, which was equally as essential to visit, one called Depth Charge. That's sadly no longer there either. But these records I picked up on one of my visits to those shops. And a great sort of budget rock, garage rock band called The Mummies. And this is one of their early singles called Stronger Than Dirt. And I don't know if you're familiar with The Mummies, but if you like sort of garage rock, sort of underproduced stuff, really check them out. They're just so much good fun to listen to. US produced records, with the big hole in the middle, so you'll just need a little adapter for your record player, but a great single. And because I like The Mummies so much, and they've got like loads of black and white covers, I'm just going to show another one. And this is Shitsville from The Mummies. How cool is that cover art, by the way? I bet they had some fun kind of making that for the cover. And this is a 4-track EP. You've got A Girl Like You, That's Mighty Childish, which has Billy Childish singing on that one. You've got Doing the Kirk, and you've got Die. 4 great tracks on Regal Select Records, who were a great record label, really little record label in America, putting out all this garage rock stuff in the 90s. Back to Sub Pop, Poison Idea, a great sort of punk, really sort of like punk band these are, with sort of a bit of a grunge tinge. SP86, Taken by Surprise, brilliant cover art there. So there's the caricature of the band, and there's the real photo of the band. This band has so much energy, by the way. If you're not familiar with them, give them a listen. If you like sort of punky sort of rock stuff, you'll like that. Wow, yeah, this is a good one. 70 Gwen Party. Probably never heard of them, but they were I think they were a London-based band, sort of industrial electronic music. Really interesting. Nothing really like them. They did a load of self-released records. Their record label that they pushed this stuff out on was called Snake Records. I've got all of their 7-inch singles. They're all in black and white sleeves, but this is one of them, and it's called The Searle Brothers, which is brilliant. Back to the budget garage rock stuff that we were talking about earlier, inspired by The Mummies. This band, they released a record with The Mummies. They also toured with The Mummies, and it's the ever so fabulous Supercharger. And this is an EP they did called Rev It Up. You've got 4 tracks. You've got Rev It Up, I Got None, Take a Hint, and I'm a Hog for You, Baby. This was on a little label called Bag of Hammers, another, again, sort of small independent US label. So much great stuff was coming out in the early 90s to do with this sort of garage rock stuff. Really, really, it was on the money. And I'm gonna close off now with there's 3 singles here called Puget Power. You got Volume 1 there, The Mono Men, Fallouts, Nights and Days, and Sugar Sugar. Brilliant cover there. You've got Volume 2, which again was equally as essential on Regal Select Records. On here you've got Gas Huffer, Yummy, Derelicts, and Alcoholics Anonymous. And then on number 3, this one is where, they're all really good, but this is the real gold one. You've got Mudhoney with a great track called Bush Pusherman, Night Kings with a great track called Black Fluid, and on the B-side you've got Calamity Jane, which is like a raucous girl punk band with a track called Shark. But the one that I really want to highlight here is this band here, Rancid Vat and Breaking Bones, and great. So a lot of 7-inch singles there, all with black and white covers. We're under 10 minutes. Bingo. Enjoy your music. Speak soon.